Anybody here can get it. Treat the game like a scrimmage now. Master P with the flow. I swear nigga got no limits now. I've been ballin' for a minute. Whole team full of winners. Anybody here can get it. You tuned into the realest now. Anybody here can get it. Treat the game like a scrimmage now. Master P with the flow. I swear nigga got no limits now. I've been ballin' for a minute. Whole team full of winners. Anybody here can get it.
Hey everyone, welcome to Off the Platform. I'm your host Greg. I've got my co-host with me, Jackson. Jackson, how are you?
Yeah, great. Thanks, mate. How are you?
I'm very good. And we've got a very special guest today. We've got Grace, otherwise known as Gracie V or Gracie Davis. Grace, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Now, for those who don't know Grace, Grace is one of the leading figures in powerlifting in the US and has got a fascinating story to share. So, Grace, you're the meet director for the the KERN US Open. Is that correct?
Yeah, along with Russell Kern.
Awesome. You're Russell Kern. And we've got the KERN coming up April 24 and 25, haven't we?
6 weeks out, yeah.
Geez, 6 weeks out. How's it all coming along?
Good. We're working every day on it. Ryan's my partner, Ryan Rubio. He's also the other meet director. The three of us are running the meet. And yeah, we come in the office every day and we work on it all day. So we're like deep in it now. It's really getting exciting. Yeah, it's coming along really well. I mean, we basically had 2 years to plan it since we didn't have one last year. So
yeah,
it's awesome. And it's going to be at our gym this year, bringing it back for the 5th year anniversary where it started at CTC. So we're pretty excited to have it at our gym.
That's awesome, mate. So you must have it down to a slick art now, eh? Having run it.
We do. We do, yeah. Ryan and I, this will be our 4th one that we put on together. So
that's awesome. That's cool.
So we're dealing with the same people, like, the same lighting people, all the same contractors, and they've got it down now too.
Nice. Are you excited about the lineup? Is it looking good?
It's looking really good. I'm really excited about it. Yeah. And probably because, well, at least for the men, Yuri pulled out, so somebody new is going to win it this year. So that'll be pretty exciting because Yuri usually wins it every year.
Yeah, I was Jackson. You were telling me earlier, that Yuri couldn't get a visa.
Yeah, I saw a post on, I think it was Instagram, and like a comment somewhere that he couldn't get a visa. Is that why he's pulled out?
I don't know why. He just I just saw a conversation with Ryan on our roster, the one who runs our roster, and I honestly I haven't asked why. So, but yeah, I just assumed that it was some kind of travel restriction due to COVID.
I mean, that's like you say, that's huge. I mean, he's won it. He's just leaps and bounds ahead of everyone on Wilkes. Obviously, you guys are still running it on Wilkes this year, and then Dots next year. Is that right?
We're not sure what we're going to do next year, but yes, it'll be on Wilkes this year.
Cool.
We'll probably just go in the direction that everybody's going. So yeah, if that's what everybody's doing, we'll probably do that.
And are you still doing like a lightweight guy, heavyweight guy, or
No.
just overall?
Just overall.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's fun. I mean, so you've you got some pretty big names in there. Obviously, if Yuri's pulled out, then I mean, it'd have to try and fall to someone like who would be your pick?
Well, I would like to see John Hack win it in sleeves.
Yeah, that'd be huge.
I saw John there.
That'd be huge because he'll probably walk out his squad as well, won't he?
Yeah.
I don't know. He just did the hybrid meet, and I don't know. Did he walk out his squad?
I think he did.
I'm not sure.
I'd have to go back and have a look, but yeah, in sleeves. If he could win it in sleeves, that'd be huge.
Yeah.
You've had has Dan Bell signed up as well?
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Sorry, I forgot about him because he just committed this week.
Oh, good.
So yeah, I mean, yeah.
We had him on the podcast.
I don't have much to say there. He's incredible.
It's awesome. Yeah, we had him on the podcast the other day, and we said to him, like, we'll get you back on if once he's going to hit 1,200. So what's that? What's that in pounds? 27, 26?
2640 or something.
2640, yeah. So
yeah,
get him back on.
2650 or something.
Nice.
So did he tell you guys he was doing the KERN whenever he was on?
Yeah, he did.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Right on. He made a call that he's going to hit that 1,200 kilo total. So yeah, once you make that call, you got to lift up to it.
If anybody could, he could.
Nice.
I mean, that's pretty close for them with Wilkes as well. I mean, that'd only be separated by like 10, 15 points or so.
Mm-hmm.
If they both had a good day, which is pretty fun, especially since you're not doing the over under the lightweight.
I mean, there's some other lifters that aren't really on people's radar, but Alexei Melnik, I don't know if you guys know who he is. He comes out and does the meet every year. he's posting some pretty crazy numbers. There's some really amazing lifters that just aren't big on Instagram or in the States.
Yeah.
Aren't really on the radar. And yeah, so I wouldn't be surprised either if one of those guys to be.
That's the thing too with powerlifting. There's very few sort of powerlifting Instagram stars. And those that are the Instagram stars, I know, Grace, you've talked about this in the past, aren't necessarily the best. You know, the ones that are best are flying under the radar.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing a whole bunch of names on the roster here that I've never heard of before, but yeah, I mean, equally they could be, you know, top 3.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
For all we know.
We've really had to open it up this year to fill the meet because every year we get tons of dropouts and then we have like 25 lifters, you know? So we wanted a full day. So we opened it up to like, I don't remember what it was now, but maybe like top 25, top 30, the qualifying totals. I don't remember actually how we did it because we're kind of rolling it into the second one now, but there's a lot of lifters. I mean, it's really hard these days to fill an international meet with like the top 10 in each weight class, you know? Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's also a reason why, you know, you probably don't recognize a lot of the names, but they come out and then they might make a name for themselves. And then that's happened before. So it's pretty cool.
That's one of those things, you never know what's going to happen on the day. That's the exciting part.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I was just thinking the same, looking at the roster. I mean, like I like to pretend that I'm probably pretty up with like who's who and etc. But I mean, it almost looks like it's probably largely due to travel restrictions and potentially gyms being closed and stuff. But it almost seems like a slight like changing of the guard almost in terms of lifters. What do you reckon's causing that?
I think what you said, like the travel restrictions, because in 2020 we had a completely different roster. So I don't know. Who knows? We'll see.
It's gonna be interesting. Who would be your pick to look out for in the girls?
Mariana, no doubt she'll win it.
Yeah.
No one can come near her.
What's she gonna compete at? 123 or 132?
I don't know. But they have up until, I believe, March 30th to submit their weight class changes. So I would say 132, but I definitely wouldn't put it past her.
Cut down, give the extra points.
Yeah.
Grace, do you still have the rule that if they don't get a hold of you to cancel, they're never invited back?
Yeah. I guess. Like I'm waiting at weigh-ins and I've still got like a ton of people to weigh in. And I'm like calling everybody, you know, the people are setting up the stage for the meet, like tons of shit's happening around me. And I'm like, hey, like, we're waiting for you on the scale. Are you coming? Oh, yeah, I'm actually like not coming. Oh, I made an Instagram post about it. I'm like, cool. Thanks for letting us know. You know, we have like all your athlete bag, your badges, all your stuff. So that
I don't think people get it, how much work goes into powerlifting meet and how much money's invested based on the numbers that are attending.
Yeah.
You know, because you're putting aside athlete bags, you're spending money on prizes and trophies and medals and everything, you know, based on the fact that you've got X number of people lifting.
Yeah, exactly. We had like 8-man gave custom singlets with people's names on it. And
that's awesome, man. That's next level, eh?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, they've really gone above and beyond 8-man. They've been our title sponsor for 3 years in a row, giving us 10 grand towards prize money, plus, like tons of apparel for the lifters. This year they're giving like 2 grand in gift cards to second place because we don't want to give anything to second place weight class. I'd rather give more money to first place on the weight classes.
Yeah.
Like, you know, $1,500 would be nice for somebody to come out and win, as opposed to, you know, breaking it up over 3 people. I'd rather just let them compete over the top spot for $1,500.
That's awesome, mate. So this
I saw on that post. I don't know who was on that post.
Don't even get me started. I was so upset by that this morning. Like, it wasn't any of the lifters except for one female lifter that commented a shitty comment on that post.
Yeah.
But it really just made me feel like, why are we doing this again?
Yeah.
You know? And then Ryan reminded me that all of the people talking shit, like none of them are competitors. They're just internet lifters, you know? And people will always have something to say.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, when was the last time any of those people like put on a meet like this?
And I don't think people realize it, or they're just too fucking stupid. Like, we're giving out over 100 grand in prizes and people they see like one thing and they're like, oh, people are only getting a gift card for a couple of t-shirts, or people are coming out and for $1,500. It's like $1,500 is more money than what's given at most meets.
Exactly.
But we're also giving 25 grand to the top winners. So just to let you know, we're giving a lot. And, but it's hard whenever I see those comments, because this is such a huge investment for Russell that, I mean, God, if it was personally my money, like I would just like, yeah, the powerlifting community as a whole, it's really these days, you know, with the internet and Instagram, and it sucks, but I try not to focus too much on that, because our competitors, they come back year after year, most of them, and they are very loyal and grateful, you know, so just try and focus on the good. There's so much negative that I could focus on.
Well, the thing with social media, you're only ever going to hear the noisy minority, aren't you?
Yeah, true.
You know, and the majority who are happy are just going to do their thing, and they're not even going to go on there. So, you know. Yeah,
exactly.
What's so can you tell us a bit more? We don't we're in New Zealand as well. We're not completely familiar with Russell. What's Russell's background, and why the love of the sport and the huge investment? Where does that come from?
He just genuinely loves powerlifting. He wants it to grow. He's a doctor. He has a PhD, and he specializes in stem cell research, stem cell transplant.
Shit.
So just tons of research. He owns a stem cell, it's called Stem Cell International Corporation. And they have like a scientific lab. He has a lot of businesses. He's one of the smartest people I know. And I met him about 7 or 8 years ago now, and he had just discovered powerlifting after spending a summer in Russia, and he came back and built a powerlifting gym in the bottom of his office building on the downstairs of like 20,000 square foot. And
wow.
And I trained him there, and that's how we got started. And then he wanted to start California Elite Training Center just to grow like the awareness of powerlifting. He wanted to make like a world-class facility. He knew it wouldn't make money and that it would cost him money. This month actually is our first ever profitable month in almost 7 years of owning the gym. Yeah, so every month he pays out tons of money, tens of thousands of dollars just to keep it running, so that we have a beautiful place to train. And
all those people that say they want to own a gym to get rich,
they're like, yeah, they're like, so what do I need to do to like start a gym? I'm just like,
yeah, be ready to lose money for 7 years.
Who has a ton of money and loves powerlifting.
Yeah,
like loves powerlifting more than anything else. So he just genuinely loves the sport. He loves helping people. He knows what this means to a lot of us. Myself, I'm a recovering addict. There's tons of recovering addicts that train at our gym. And sometimes like this is all we got.
Yeah.
And I haven't really been in that like diehard place, you know, in a few years. I've kind of like shifted my focus in life, but for a long time, like powerlifting was saving my life, and it was my outlet. And he knows that a lot of people rely on him for that. Like he never closed. He closed for a very short time during COVID, but we stayed open, you know, against mandates, and we knew how important it was for people to be able to train for their mental health. And so, and then he wanted to start a powerlifting federation to make a better place for the top athletes, like for the US Open, and also for the local level athlete. Like the same experience overall, a better experience for meet directors where they're not paying tons of money and stupid fees for equipment approval lists and to sanction the meet. And we just want to, have a fun place to compete. That's a good platform.
So no one's paying 250 grand to get approval for gear.
So crazy. Now the other federations are doing it too, and you know, people always ask us, well, can I use these knee wraps or can I use this singlet? And it's like, yes,
yeah,
you can use whatever you want, as long as it comes within the specs, you know, which they all do pretty much.
So Russell's he's the president of the WRPF Americas.
Yeah, so North and South America.
And you're involved in that as well, Grace, as well.
Yeah. So I'm his assistant and I do everything hand in hand. And then Ryan, so the three of us work very closely together. And then Dan Stevens is our vice president. He's in Texas.
Brilliant.
We
Yeah.
have mini state chairs now. We have an East Coast chair. We have tons of states.
So tell us more about the WRPF, because it's relatively new fed, isn't it? It's about 5-6 years old.
Yeah.
Kirill Sarchev is the global president, but it's really kicked off with a big fanfare. Like it's got huge promise from the sounds of it, and it's already behind some of the biggest events in the world. And
some of the coolest looking events too. We want to bring those events here to the States, the ones that Kirill does, like the big shows. So raw lifters can use a monolift to squat, which is a huge plus for a lot of people. There's a knee sleeve division, there's a wrap division, there's a drug tested division, there's a non-tested division. There's records available now. We just got that up, and we're working with web people. So they're constantly improving that, the membership site and the record database. But we're working also with Open Powerlifting to just make sure everything is getting easier to search for and updated frequently. So yeah, I don't really know what else to say. I mean, it's a fun place. We've had great feedback so far from the meet directors and our state chairs. And we're going to be hosting our first nationals in Texas in September. Nice.
Now I see on the WRPF homepage website, they've got a whole bunch of other lifts too. Do you ever see those other lifts coming in, like the strict bicep curl? What else is going on, Jackson? No, we're not going to be doing bicep curls just yet.
I don't think so. And all the slapping competitions and stuff.
Yeah. Have you been to Russia? Great. Have you seen powerlifting in Russia? It must be fucking off. It must be madness over there.
It must be nuts.
Yeah.
Nuts.
Is that where Russell was introduced to powerlifting? It would have been Russia. I mean, surely you can't be.
Yeah, but it wasn't at an event like that. It was just like a Russian lifter lifting in an average gym. Yeah.
Oh, they have average gyms. I always got this picture in my head. Every single gym's a powerlifting
imagine
gym.
like where Milana trains, you know?
Yeah. Awesome. Right, let's take it back an option to go all the way back. So you're to your younger years, Grace. You're a triplet, one of three.
Yes, sir.
That's what was that like growing up? That must have been interesting.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, obviously I don't know anything different, but we weren't like planned multiples, so it was a surprise for my mom. And so she never dressed us the same. She always wanted us to have our own personalities and our own identities, like right from from an early age. And so we went to French school. So I speak French. We went to a French elementary school, the three of us. And then at high school, grade 7 in Quebec, we split up and we all went to a different high school so that we could have like our own group of friends and our own identity, our own sports and stuff. And so that's what it was like. We were in a movie whenever we were 5 years old. There was an audition for triplets in Montreal, which was like a really big city, a couple hours away.
Yeah.
Because we're from a very small town in the country. There's like 2 stop signs and like a diner. That's it, like 1 gas station. So my mom took us to this audition just like as a fun outing for the day, like never imagining that we would get the role, and we got the role. So they picked 2 sets of triplets. It was a story about the Dion quintuplets, they were the first quintuplets born in the world in Timmins, Ontario. This was like, I think in the 30s or 40s. Anyways, so we got the role, and they dyed our hair to look like the other triplets, and they moved us to Montreal and like paid for everything.
Wow.
In this huge house, and we were 5 years old. So that was a pretty cool experience. And we came back to our little hometown after a few months of doing this, and we were like little movie stars. It was super fun. So yeah, we got to there was like some well-known actors in it, Beau Bridges and Roy Dupree. And so yeah, I have a lot of cool memories from that time, like being on the back of his Harley. And Beau Bridges would like give us pogs at every scene we would shoot. He would like give us new pogs, and like we were like super spoiled. And like we would sit and get like hair and makeup for 2 hours before working each day. Little 5-year-old girls, imagine.
Yeah.
So we came back and we went to French school growing up. We spent our summers on an island, at our cottage on an island. There was like no running water or electricity, so we just like spent a lot of time outdoors. And
I tell you what, that sounds really appealing. I keep telling because I've
It
got
does
two.
now, but not as a kid growing
No,
up.
not as a kid. No, I tell my two.
Now I would pay huge.
I
My
would
sister
love that.
actually owns an island right beside the island where we had our cottage on, and she has the only cottage. Well, she like built a temple on her island, but and yeah, now of course, like it's like sanctuary, right? Like we all want to be there. Yeah.
It's just so hard to get away from everything these days. You know, we're bombarded by, you know, this. My kids are, my boys are 14 and 11, and then one of them is more addicted to the screen than the other one, but we just can't get away from it. And I always say to my wife, wouldn't it be great to go on holiday where there's no fucking coverage, internet coverage whatsoever, no electricity? The boys would hate it, but I would love it. I would love it.
Yeah.
Jackson, you would hate it, would you?
I don't know. It's one of those things, isn't it? You know, you don't. I've probably never. Cause there's no chance to do it these days.
Yeah, like once it's out of your system, like I'm kind of off and on Instagram because it's just like so addicting, you know, just to be on your phone all the time. And even when I have like young kids and like full-time job and stuff and training, like if it's there, like it's just, and it just doesn't improve the quality of my life at all. So I try and like delete it as much as possible. So I'm off it this week. It's not on my phone this week, and it's been a few days now, so it's out of my system. I'm gonna try and keep it like that for a while.
Those screen usage apps are scary, eh? Like when you see
That's
how
just
much
depressing. I don't even look at that anymore.
It's disgusting. It scares me, eh? I've looked at it once and I was like, no way. No, must be broken. Fuck that.
Exactly, eh? Now, Gracie, about growing up, you didn't carry on with the movie star thing, eh? You didn't get an agent and decide to become movie stars, no?
No, we just went back to regular life, playing softball and going to school until I was like 12 years old, and I started like running away from home and getting into trouble, getting drunk and high. And then actually I was 11. And I think just like growing up as a triplet and always kind of trying to like, you know, be noticed outside of the pack. I just was acting out a lot, and I got sent to a foster home when I was 11. Actually, the lady who ran our local youth center, Diane, she was really amazing. She like made herself a foster family so that she could take me in for a summer.
Wow.
Yeah. And I just went there to her place and got into even more trouble. There was more boys in her town. And yeah, and then it just continued to progress from there. I ended up like in a rehab whenever I was 13, running away from rehab with like older guys who are doing hard drugs. Whenever at that point I was just like smoking weed and drinking. And I got into hard drugs in my teen years, and I got addicted to coke. And then I just I haven't lived with my parents since I was 12 years old. So one of my friends' families like adopted me for a couple of years, and then I was out on my own, working from a really young age. And I somehow managed to get a high school diploma when I was 17. I went back to adult ed, but it was fucking wild. When I look back on it, like so crazy, and it makes me so grateful that I have boys, which probably doesn't even fucking matter. They could fucking take me for a ride too. But for my parents to have triplet girls, and I have an older sister as well, and like we were all bad.
Oh wow.
We all like did hard drugs, and my sister Bonnie's in recovery too. She so I'll have 15 years clean, so I haven't had a drink or done any mind altering substance. Well, obviously steroids are not included in that. I'm pretty open about my past steroid use, but yeah, I'll have 15 years clean in the fall. Yeah, so my sister Bonnie got clean whenever I had a year clean. She came to my 1 year clean celebration, and she got clean, so she has a year less than me. And yeah, we both still go to meetings, and they're still. What
was the turning point for you, Grace? You know, in becoming or wanting to become or get clean.
Well, I was 17 years old, and the guy I was dating was 49. I was living with him, and he died. We had a cocaine psychosis, and we had like been getting high for probably like started getting high on like a Saturday night, and he died on a Wednesday morning. So we hadn't eaten or slept during that time, and so just like complete psychosis, like seeing things, hearing voices that weren't there, and Yeah, so we ended up jumping off the roof of our waterfront home onto the frozen river. And I was so lucky that I didn't die. I broke my back. I landed on my feet and I broke my back.
Wow.
Still broken. Like it's one of my, it's a compression fracture. So the vertebrae is still compressed. It was like borderline surgery. And he died. His spine snapped in half and he died. And he was really sick at the time too. He was on dialysis for about a year waiting for a kidney transplant. He had a kidney disease.
Wow.
And so he was like really killing himself like with the drug use and like by skipping dialysis and stuff. And so it was just a complete shit show. And that was the turning point for me. That was like my rock bottom. Whenever he died, I was 17. And I got clean when I was 18. It took me a while coming in and out of the rooms, relapsing, getting 30 days, 25 days, 60 days, just always relapsing. But once I decided to stop doing everything, like the softer drugs, like weed and alcohol, like everything, all inclusive, once I stopped everything, then it really became easier to change like people, places, and things, you know, like it was like black and white. There, it wasn't like, oh, I'm just gonna still hang out there, just not do coke and I'll just drink wine, you know, like I did not know moderation. It was just more of whatever it was. So I got clean when I was 18. October 4th, 2006 is my clean date.
Wow. And is there anyone that you credit to helping you with that, or did you do it all by yourself?
Yeah, the Rooms of Narcotics Anonymous, definitely. I went to my first meeting in June of 2006, and oh my God, I was a fucking mess, a huge mess. And like there were so many people there that took me outside after the meeting to smoke cigarettes with me and talk to me and just like listen to my story. And yeah, then I left to move out to Calgary, which is like the complete opposite side of Canada, like a 3-day drive. Tried to do like the geographical cure, and I ended up just getting into hard drugs over there because my sister was out there. And then so I came back to Ottawa on the East Coast, and I went back to that meeting, that NA meeting, and then this was in September, October, and all the people remember my name. And wow. I was like fucking floored. I was like, what the fuck? Okay, like maybe I belong here. And I just kept going. And then I got like a service position at that meeting, and people started relying on me to make the coffee. And there was like this thing that, like a tradition, like every coffee maker from that group made coffee until they got a year clean. They just like showed up every week because addicts smoke cigarettes and drink coffee.
That's
and
cool.
If the fucking coffee maker doesn't have coffee for everybody, you know? So I became the coffee maker, and it's funny, actually, I haven't thought about this in like a decade. It's so funny. Because I remember also passing on the coffee maker to the next person who's still clean. And he, you know, got his first year clean by showing up every week to make the coffee. So, yeah.
I guess, is it all about forming new habits? Yeah, more healthier habits and more like routines and that.
They say you don't got to change much, just everything.
Would you say that then, so like, is that when you almost started lifting after that? Like you almost changed that? Or
no, I didn't start lifting until I was 20 or 21.
Yep.
So no, it was a few years later that I found lifting. Yeah. But once I found lifting, it was like finally, like I had that outlet, and I just became like addicted to that, you know, my addictive personality. Like it was all or nothing. Like I had to buy all the gear, like all the insert gear, and I was in Canada, right? So, well, like you guys, it's probably super hard to get shit like that. I don't know if it still is in 2020, but back in the day, it was. I used to have training partners from Australia, and it was a shit show trying to get them gear.
What is it with lifting? Why does lifting always attract people that are with addictive personalities? You know, we hear the story. Well, I hear this story all the time. You know, we've had a number of people on that they've gravitated towards powerlifting who have had, you know, less than ideal lives before that. What is it about powerlifting?
It takes a pretty fucked up person to be a powerlifter.
I think it does, because you're fucking hurting yourself all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's some. We've had some real characters on the podcast, and both Jackson and I have been involved in powerlifting for over 10 years now. But and we've got some interesting friends. You know, some real interesting stories. Yeah, it's great. No, what was so the period between getting clean and lifting? We were just living a regular life, just doing,
I was just
9 to
had
5.
a 9 to 5 job at a post office and just went to work, and I went to meetings, and I bought my first house when I was 20 years old. And then actually, I didn't work at the post office for very long. I got into the car business whenever I had maybe like 2 years clean or something like that. And same thing, like that addictive personality, like it was never enough, never enough, never enough. I had to like make more, more, more. And so at first I thought I wanted to be a mechanic. So I did an apprenticeship. And then I realized that it was just way too hard to work. And that like, even just to take tires off a vehicle, it's just so hard. And well, I guess it wouldn't be now, right? But back then I was pretty weak. Anyways, I got onto the desk, like selling the jobs for the mechanics, and I started making really good money doing that as a service advisor. And then that wasn't really enough. So then I would come back in after the service department closed in the evenings, and I would sell extended warranties to all my service customers that brought their really shitty vehicles in. And so I was making bank, and I was having a great time. I was a shark, and I loved like the rush of selling and making money. And so yeah, I bought it, and I would just go on like a lot of vacations by myself a lot to like tropical destinations.
Nice.
And I bought a motorcycle, and I bought a house. And yeah, that's what I did until I found lifting. And then shortly after finding lifting, I moved to the States. I moved to Columbus.
Oh, so that's Columbus, Ohio. So that's when you encountered Westside, yeah?
Yeah, that's when I learned about Westside. Yeah, I started dating a guy that was training at Westside. So when I moved to Columbus, I was never like good enough to train there. And I was only ever known to Louie as this guy's girl, you know? I called him by my name until I got a pro total.
So that was AJ Roberts, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. We had Greg Panora on the podcast a few days ago. Yeah. A few days ago. Yeah. So that was so did AJ was around the time Greg was there? Did he come on after?
Yeah, they were training partners.
They were training partners, eh?
Yeah.
And then when were you allowed? Were you allowed to train straight away, or was Louie being a bit of a dick about it and saying that you needed to prove yourself first? Or
yeah, no. Westside's not a place for girlfriends.
No.
And so no girlfriends allowed in the warm-up room. It was after I moved to San Diego, and I had already left AJ, and then I was still traveling back there to do the big Westside meets, the pro invitationals, the meets that Donnie Thompson was putting on, and then Louie started noticing me, and I got a pro total, and then he invited me to Westside, and yeah, so I would just travel back from San Diego like once a month and go there for a week or so. Yeah.
And that was you were lifting in multiply, yeah? There was no raw lifting back.
Yeah, there wasn't much raw lifting at all whenever I got into powerlifting. It didn't even exist. It wasn't even a raw category. It was just single ply.
Single ply.
In the IPF at least, you know.
Yeah.
And then I went to the tested or the non-tested side, and my first meet was a tested meet. And then I went to the non-tested side, and it was all multiply.
So you've got some really impressive lifts, 1,300 pound total.
Yeah.
Is your best, yeah? What does that work out to be, Jackson?
It's 590 or so, I think, in kilos.
So you're in the 148 pound class, eh, Gracie? That was the So you've done a 512 pound squat, which is 232 kilos. Fucking hell, my camera's in the way. 315 pound bench, 142, and a 490 deadlift. So 1,300. That's a fucking massive total.
Yeah, I did. I ended up doing a raw meet the year that I retired, and that was a fun year. I did a raw meet. I went 9 for 9. I squatted 400. I benched 225, and I pulled 440.
Shit,
and then awesome. So it's like 440 is like 200. I mean, it's nothing compared to what the women are doing now. It's insane, especially the girls from Australia.
Yeah,
it's so crazy.
Yeah,
but I did that raw meet, and then a couple months later, I did my last meet on multiply. And after I hit those numbers, that 1,300 total, I was like, I think I'm good. I mean,
back in 2016. This is back in 2016, though, wasn't it? Yeah. That's big numbers back then. That would have been.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were records like within the USPA.
Yeah. So that's Do you regret stopping at all, or
No, I had a great time powerlifting. I met
yeah,
some amazing people. I coached hundreds of athletes. I had the DCS pack, an
yeah,
online coaching business that I shut down when I was pregnant with my second son. I just had enough of it, and I
yeah,
wanted to focus on other things. But no, no regrets. And
perfect.
people always ask me like, "Oh, like, do you regret taking steroids and stuff?" I don't.
You
I
did what
regret
you had to do.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, I've had an awesome fucking life. I've
yeah,
done
yeah.
some really cool stuff, and I've been around amazing people. Yeah, and lots of burnt bridges along the way. Tons of burnt bridges. Probably more burnt bridges than relationships that are still standing. But I mean, I don't think people are. Not everybody is supposed to be in your life forever. You know, some are supposed to be there for a short time, and yeah. So I don't have any regrets, and I had a really great time. And after my both my pregnancies, I mean, I lifted throughout both my pregnancies. Just,
Yeah, I was gonna
I mean,
say
it's still relatively just as hard, you know, like whether I'm, you know, on gear and like fucking training super hard, or I'm natty, and you know what I mean. It's hard as hard. One rep max is a one rep max, and
yeah,
I'm still getting that high from it. So it's just less weight on the bar. So I've done one meet since having kids, and just raw knee sleeves. I did it with my husband. I haven't competed with my husband since 2016. So we did that, and yeah.
So yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, you lifted all through your pregnancies, and your husband is in the military.
Yeah, he's a recon Marine, so special forces.
Cool. So he gets sent away back.
Yeah, he's away right now. He's been gone since August, and he probably won't be back until the summer.
That must be tough, Grace, because you got two young kids as well, Griffin and
Yeah. Well, even whenever he is here, he's not really here because his job is so demanding. So knowing that he was going to be deployed, we got tons of extra help, nannies and, you know, babysitters and family members. So I set up all this extra help. So really I have almost, you know, I'm better set up now that he's gone than whenever he's here. And it was super hard. I mean, having young kids, it's just hard, but
Yeah.
I have a lot of help, and it does suck, and I really miss him, and I'm really ready for him to be home. Yeah, I really miss him.
For sure.
He when you guys met, was he in the military then, or was he just signing up?
No, he was in high school.
Oh wow! So you guys know each know each other for a while.
I'm 10 years older than him.
Okay. Was that ever going to be a concern when he was going to sign up for the military? Were you concerned about that? Obviously.
No, I wanted him to. He
Awesome.
was like 17, and he asked me. This was before we were together, or anyways, during a time when we were not together. He's like, should I go to college and go into the military as an officer, or should I just go in right now into the infantry? And I said, you should just go in right now. I really like the security and the stability that comes. I mean, I say stability, they're gone a lot, but like, you know, like during COVID, like we always had an income, you know, we always had a place to live. We always had food. Like so many people, like they don't have that security. And like, I know like no matter what, it's really nice, especially having kids, like knowing it's really somebody I could rely on financially. And that's really important to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And the military here, I mean, they don't make a lot of money, but they make sure everybody in the family stays alive.
Yeah.
Does he get deployed locally or internationally?
Yeah, he's international right now.
Oh wow! Okay.
I mean, you said before you haven't lived at home with your parents since you were 12. As such, do you find it? I mean, having kids is going to be difficult regardless, but obviously, having not had been at home so much, do you find it hard then being a mother yourself, or you taken to it quite well?
I mean, yeah, it's pretty instinctual.
Yeah.
I had never even like held a baby before my first son was born, you know?
True.
I had never changed a diaper or anything, but it's just in women. You don't need to know anything. It's just like all of a sudden, like they're there and you just know what to do with them. So it's pretty cool the way we're set up.
Yeah, that's fun.
To be honest, man, no one's ever really prepared for it, I don't think, unless they've had younger brothers and sisters they've looked after.
Yeah, exactly. Unless they've really been around babies and stuff.
Yeah, I was the same.
Like, I mean, the women that help me now, like my nannies, they'll be really prepared. Like, you know, because they spend so much time with my kids and they're so young and they have so many strategies and, you know, different strategies for different personalities for the different boys. And so, yeah, I think unless you're around it a lot, you don't know what to expect.
You just guess and it works.
Well, it's half.
I mean, a
it's
lot of
half,
trial and error.
It is.
Yeah.
It's half the time it's fucking up, and half the time it's
Yeah.
getting it right. You know, and hopefully they end up okay.
And then once you think you got to figure it out, everything changes.
Yeah, then they become teenagers, and then they tell you to fuck off.
Jeez.
Things to look forward to, eh?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, Grace, you mentioned burning bridges, and I don't think anyone who you can't do an internet search and put your name in these days without seeing a whole bunch of.
I'm so sure. I don't even. It's just it's too much. I can't handle it.
No, I don't think many people can type their name into it and get so many responses. Hey, Jackson, you probably can't get too many responses when you put your name.
I get like some fucking baseball player in the States or something.
Oh, you get confused, do you?
So I'm under the radar, bro. I can, you know.
Yeah, you can do what you want. Yeah, definitely. I'm under a microscope, and anything I do gets scrutinized so bad. I'm probably the most hated woman in the sport of powerlifting. Well, I'm definitely the most hated woman in the sport of powerlifting. I mean, that's just the way it goes, and that's okay. And that's what I mean. If you know, I wouldn't be doing everything that we're doing, you know, with the gym, with the US Open, if it didn't mean so much to me, you know. But I know who I am, and yeah, I know the good that I've done, and I don't need to talk about it or sound cocky, but yeah, that's the stuff that the internet doesn't see, you know. And that's okay. So yeah, I just
was
don't
that because you previously,
no matter who you are, you can't not take it personally.
No, exactly. Yeah. So you were previously involved with I always get these fucking federations mixed up. USPA.
Yeah, USPA. Yeah, I was good friends with the owner and his right-hand man.
Okay.
So whenever we would go to meets, I'd always be coaching a huge group of lifters and be bringing my lifters all over. You know, we would go out to dinners after the meet, and I got special treatment for the meets that I ran at my gym. You know, didn't have to pay sanction fees, didn't have to pay for this and that, and they would come out and run the meets themselves, the owner and his right-hand man, and we were close friends. And it sucks, I miss them, but it's actually really funny. One of my friends from the East Coast sent me a meme yesterday. I mean, everybody's fucking seen it, but I was like, damn, I can't believe we can laugh about this now, because 2 years ago we weren't fucking laughing about it. It was that fucking email I sent to that girl, that weak girl, a couple of years ago.
You had to be awesome.
You had to be there. You might be number one in your friends' hearts, but you're still number 91 on the list. We told everyone to check before applying.
Yeah.
That's just who I am. And okay, man.
I remember
that burned a lot of bridges. But you know what? Fuck. Like, if a fucking man sent that to a dude, this wouldn't fucking
100%. 100%. Yeah. Why are people so sensitive?
People are such fucking pussies. And yes, I am a fucking bitch. I'm not a gentle person at all. Okay, so I'm sorry. If you don't like it, then don't compete in our meets. Don't register for our meets, you know? I mean, that specific day, we had been so specific in the exact requirements we were looking for. Here are 6 criterias. Please email this email with 1, 2, like every single one that we're asking. And this woman sends in one short sentence, I'm number 24. Like, didn't know where. I spent 30 minutes, wasted 30 minutes of my day trying to find who this woman was to see if she qualified. You know, whatever. But I was involved in them, and that's what burned my bridge with the USPA. And again, well, at first they called me and they're like, hey, you got to be nicer. Like, I know people are fucking pussies. I'm like, fuck, people are pussies. What the fuck? And then they're like, don't worry, everything's fine. And then like 2 days later, they're like, yeah, actually, we're really like getting a lot of shit for this. So we're going to have to let you go. That's what it was like, not using those words exactly. But, they called me. They're like, can you please just do an apology post? I'm like, okay, fuck, whatever. I'm like, can I say that like you're making me do it, basically? They're like, yeah, whatever, just make something. So I posted like something. And then like not long after that, they said that they wouldn't sanction the US Open unless I wasn't running the meet. And my partner said, well, she is the fucking US Open, so bye. And then we went with the WRPF, which was the birth of WRP Americas. And now we have fucking federation with over 1,000 members. And yeah, and our first year running was during COVID. So like this year is going to be amazing.
Fuck, that's amazing.
Everything happens for a reason.
I remember when that whole thing came out, and I just cracked up because I could totally see where you were coming from. And I mean, like, 'cause I've run meets in the past, not to the scale that you are, but like, it's one of those things. I mean, lifters are voting with their feet, aren't they? You're still going 2 years later or 3 years later, you know, like it's, and you've still got the best lifters turning up. So obviously no one
Everybody acted like this would just like, I mean, whatever. It's just words.
No one gives a shit. Everyone's still turning up. No. This is an interesting topic that we've brought up before about the Federation Powerlifting. Obviously, you guys are now sanctioned by the WRPF. But it's the US Open as the event. So you have things like, obviously, there was the hybrid showdown. There's the showdown at the end of the year, the US Open. These sorts of meets especially on the untested side of powerlifting, like everyone that's in IPF could tell me who the world champ of X, Y, and Z weight class is in the IPF. In untested powerlifting, if someone said to me, so like USPA, which is IPL affiliated, and someone said to me, right, who won IPL Worlds? I've got no fucking idea. If someone said to me,
with these big meets, we're making a circuit.
Yeah.
There's going to be the US Open, the showdown, and then a big meet in Miami, probably, you know? So, and then maybe a big meet in Washington on the West Coast too. So there's going to be a circuit, and we're all working in unison so that they're perfectly spaced out, so that, you know, nobody's getting fucked over, and that everybody has a chance to get the best lifters to come. We have a lot of things that we're going to be implementing, like pro cards, you know, different like levels where, so I can't, release too much information because it's not fine-tuned yet. Ryan and I are working on it, but we would like to release that for the US Open. And yeah, it's so divided right now.
Yeah.
The untested side. And I mean, I'm super excited for the WRPF. Anybody who is anybody is doing WRPF meets.
Yeah.
It seems to be, I've noticed that too.
I also just saw the other day that for the showdown meet at the end of the year, so the USAPL, which is obviously for people who are listening, the IPF affiliate in America, they have some of their best lifters going to the showdown.
Yeah, I saw that woman, Mello.
Yeah, Daniela Mello. I mean, Ashton Rushka's going, Sean Noriega.
How the fuck is that happening? IPF lifters going to an untested meet.
Well, why can't they?
It means that they can never go back to the IPF, basically.
Oh, this is a one-way. Yeah, because it's a one-way ticket, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it actually a one-way ticket though?
No, I think it's for 2 years. I might be wrong. No, I'm really not sure, but I think it's 2 years. But they can't come back to the IPF or something like that.
I've noticed, and no disrespect to the IPF because we've got a lot of IPF listeners, but I've noticed depending on how well you lift, depends how short that time span is before they're allowed to come back. Yeah. Yeah.
I also saw something interesting. I don't know if you saw it, Grace. It's not really relevant to us over here, but the USAPL for this year's nationals, they're going off X qualifications or whatever, but they also let people buy a lifetime membership to the USAPL, and if you bought the lifetime membership, you could qualify for nationals regardless of your numbers.
Well, that's fucking stupid. That's just what they are, though, a fucking sellout.
Yeah.
How much did that cost?
It was like $2,000. It was like $2,500, and it's the worst thing that can happen, which is probably going to happen. They're going to have some guy turn up in like the 120 class and total like 500, but he's bought his lifetime membership.
Yeah.
And they can't turn him away.
Yeah.
You know, it's what sort of direction is, the supposed elite federation headed in?
Yeah. Well, that's I have no words.
Yeah,
it doesn't surprise me, you know.
Yeah.
Like to see what they've been doing over the last 2 years or so. Yeah, with what they're charging for stuff, and just this is powerlifting.
Yeah.
It's not fucking.
There's almost like the two directions that federations take in terms of making an income. You either have a very wealthy sponsor like Russell Kern, and the athletes are supported. You know, they're not paying huge amounts of money to compete, and they're getting paid to win and so forth. Or you go the other way, in which you just try and milk every single dollar you can from the athletes and line your own pockets. You know, it's just it's doomed. You know, the way forward is people like Russell and yourselves who are building up the sport and turning it into a professional sport.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure exactly the dollar amount that he's invested personally, but like with cost of events, not just prize money, but some of these events have cost us over $100,000 just to host.
Wow.
So yeah, it's got to be $700,000.
Over the course
Plus
of
the cost to keep the gym open, like a lot of charity. Yeah. And so whenever I see people like on Instagram talking shit about what we're giving away, really
tell them to put their own hands.
I really got to be. It's a good thing I'm not on Instagram this week. Ryan was handling it, he ended up just turning off the comments. But
do you get a few of the messages of so obviously with that sort of investment and your guys' time, etc. In my opinion, it's your meet. You can invite who the fuck you want, really.
Absolutely.
If you know what I mean. If you're putting that in, do you ever get those messages where, why haven't you invited?
Oh yeah. People tore me apart for 1 year inviting a girl. And sorry, I just should have continued.
Yeah, I was like,
I was very popular on Instagram, but really weak.
Yeah.
And I'm like, because she was super fucking popular on Instagram, and I wanted her to promote me all year.
Yeah.
That's why I invited her, and I can fucking do what the fuck I want.
Yep.
I can, you know what I mean? I also gave away like 10 charity spots. We had a giveaway, and there was a contest, and you could win a comp spot to the US Open and forego the qualifying total. And yeah, we can absolutely invite whoever we want. And like we just decided, Ryan and I today, that there's a certain female competitor that won't ever be allowed to register for the US Open again. She's doing the meet, and she's one of the complainers. She's a troublemaker. She gave us trouble last year, and she's talking shit again this year. So no, thank you. Like we totally can turn down who we want or invite who we want. Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. So Grace, what's keeping you busy these days apart from the US Open? You're obviously working, you're still coaching in the gym?
No, I'm not coaching at all anymore.
No coaching at all, hey?
No coaching at all. So I'm training. I'm like getting into some different stuff. I'm still lifting. I'm getting into some fighting disciplines and learning. I'm training with a couple of fighters at the gym. So I'm learning some boxing and some wrestling, running a lot. I mean, I have 2 kids, so, I don't sleep at night. I'm up with a baby all night, and it's a lot. Just like running a household, making sure that there's like food to eat. Like everything is just so much work. Like my husband's gone, sending him emails every day. Like there's just so much like to keep everything going. But probably mostly just being around the gym. And I'm at our office right now. We also have a talent agency, KERN Talent Agency. So I'm at our office doing the call here. It's across the street from the gym. So this is where we work for all the this is where Ryan and I work now. It's a lot less distracting than being on the gym floor with everybody coming asking for a spot.
Yeah, bitch, yeah.
Yeah.
So this is where we work on the meet, the WRPF headquarters, the talent agency stuff. And so we have a lot on the go. Like today I had meetings at the bank yesterday and today, just setting up changes in our accounts for like 3 of our different businesses. And then this week, ordering merchandise for the meet, working with 8 Man on the banner for the US Open. Like, yeah, there's tons of stuff going on all the time.
Sounds like it, eh? So you mentioned boxing. Is it a pure coincidence? Because Steffi Cohen's also doing boxing. Are we going to see the two of you in a ring?
Because I spent like maybe 6 months or so like off Instagram, and the guys at 8 Man, they said the same thing. They're like, "Are you going to box with Steffi at the US Open?" And then I was like, "Oh, she's doing that," and I went to look, and I'm like, "Damn, that's really cool. Good for her." No, I don't ever plan to compete or anything. I just really like the training and learning something new. And
you could be the undercard or the main event for the Thor versus Eddie Hall You know,
Right?
do it in the same
Yeah.
event. You've got Thor versus Eddie Hall, and then Gracie V versus Steffi Cohen.
Imagine. Jeez.
Well, I think Thor's
Oh,
one
she's
of the
fucking
most
kicking
hated
my
men in power and
She's
strongman,
a
isn't he, at the
fucking
moment?
monster. She's crazy.
Yeah, she's
An amazing athlete.
Yeah.
awesome. All right, Steffi.
I hope that she comes. I hope to see her back on the US Open platform. I really do.
Do you think that's going to happen, Jackson?
I mean, just from seeing stuff, she has always said she wants to come back at some stage. She's just a genetic freak. She's an athlete. She can do what she wants, and she'll be good at it. You know, she's just one of those people. It's crazy.
Probably half a year that she would train, and probably less to be competitive at the US Open again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah.
All right, Grace, thank you so much for coming on. All the best for the US Open.
Thank you. There'll be an awesome live stream. Ape Man will be out doing the live stream this year, so
awesome. We'll be sure to tune into that. Good luck getting your husband back very soon. Sounds like you're definitely missing him, and could do a little bit of help around the house too. So it would just be nice having him around. But thank you so much for coming on the podcast. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for your time.
No problem. I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care.
Thank you, Grace.
That's good.
Okay, bye.
Thank you.
Bye.